Is it good? We're going? All right, we're going. This was a very big topic. Obviously, a lot of comments, a lot of people crying out for answers. And I think I brought more things to the surface than I did give you answers. And the reason it's hard, right? I mean, if you go over 10 minutes on a Facebook Live, you lose people, right? But I really do have a desire to bring as many answers as I can, even in this short period of time. So I'm going to attempt. I went through every comment everybody put in, and I kind of have an idea for what some of the questions and other comments. I think some of you put in some great comments as well to help you. And I broke it down into these 5 things that we need to consider when we're dealing with SIBO. But as I pointed out in the last video, if you haven't seen the lives that I've done on this topic, go back and watch them because there's a lot of information, even a test called the IBS SURE test that will look if you have an autoimmune answer. And we're still doing a lot of investigation here, and I'm going to continue to share some of these answers that we're getting with the autoimmune with SIBO, which is a big causative factor. Regardless of whether you have autoimmune SIBO or not, this is still what we have to go through with these cases, just to at least deal with the symptoms. That if you introduce these higher FODMAP foods, these are foods that feed the bacteria in the small intestine that shouldn't be there, then you get a relapse if you have autoimmune. But regardless, if you do this, you can really become symptom-free until you step off that diet. But if we can, when we conquer the autoimmune, then you're able to eat high FODMAP foods without a return of symptoms. So I'm going to keep building on that. But for right now, this is where every one of you need to start. So if you write these 5 things down, it'll kind of help you organize it. Now, again, as I teach my doctors, we phase this out in months. So it's kind of a 3-month protocol. We're month 1, and then month 2, we kind of take it to the next level in month 3. And I'll kind of give you that idea as best I can. The diet does play a significant role. And some of you were very, very bright. You said, hey, I heard the carnivore diet actually helps SIBO dramatically. Well, the carnivore diet's pretty simple. It's basically meat. So meat, butter, 0 fiber, no vegetables, carnivore diet. Now, I'm a person who believes in diet variation. I believe you stay on a carnivore diet, just like a vegan or a vegetarian diet or any diet, paleo diet, too long, it will not be a good thing. But in short terms, it can be a very good thing. And a carnivore diet, eating all meat and fats, is a darn good thing short term for SIBO. Why? Because fiber and sugars is what feeds the small intestinal bacteria overgrowth, the SIBO. So when we take it away, magic happens. The bacteria can't feed, so they die off. So we typically, on severe cases, on the diet, we will put someone in a carnivore diet for 1, 2, 3, and I've even had people go a full month to really immediately get a control of the symptoms. So you might say, where are my antioxidants? Look, when you're on a carnivore diet, your body actually produces so little free radicals that you don't need like all the vitamin C and things that you would need from a plant-based diet. But again, I'm about diet variation here. But for SIBO, even a week on a carnivore diet, meats and fats, is a really good place to start, especially for SIBO cases. If you're not as severe, you could just do a low FODMAP diet. So if you don't know what that is, Google it, low, and then it's FOD, and then MAP, okay? So low FOD, that's an F, MAP diet, and you'll find all the foods you can eat on a low FODMAP diet. High FODMAP foods, flare it up. However, again, if you're severe, go to a carnivore diet. You can Google that too, but it's pretty easy, meats and fats. Okay, so that's what we do. Even if we start on a carnivore diet, we'll still progress into a low FODMAP diet for at least 3 months. And then months 3 or 4, depending on severity, we introduce 1 or 2 high FODMAP foods while we're still remaining on these things that kill these bacteria, so they come out of the biofilm and we can nail them. So that's a strategy that we use, not until we get at least month 3 or 4. Okay, let's talk killers. These are the things that we take to kill the bacteria that don't belong in the small intestine, right? They belong in the large intestine. Things like grapefruit seed extract, right? Alicillin, it's a type of garlic. The number 3, it's called Backtracks. It's a product that I use, and you can get it on my website. Oregano oil. I'm trying to name things that you would see in your health food store, right? Berberine, okay? Neem, N-E-E-M. Okay, these are all killers. Now, you don't go on all of them. Typically, we're on at least 3 of those at a time. But every month, we rotate them because the bacteria get used to them. Now, sometimes you have to add some antifungals, anti-candida products, because it also could be called CEO. So small intestinal YO, right? Small intestinal yeast overgrowth. So, and sometimes it's both. So oftentimes we add in one of these, one Candida complex. There's another one called Fung DX on my website. Okay, look, what I'm going to do for you, I'm going to continue this probably for like maybe one more episode on this based on your questions this week. By next week, I'll have my team put together a very simple little protocol that if you put your email in, you can get, and I'll have them work on that. But I need a week for them to do it. They're going to kill me. But I'm naming all these products, and y'all are like, what? So just, I want you to get the concept right now. The killers. 3 natural killers at a time, and we rotate them every month. Know that for right now. Biofilm busters. What does that mean? That means that the bacteria, when we start getting the diet right and the killers, they run into something called biofilm, and then we can't get them anymore. So we need something that breaks down the biofilm. A product that I love is Interface Plus. I'll put it in the sheet. It's from a company that probably you may not be able to get. It's a pretty strong product. But things you can get at a health food store are like nattokinase, some of these enzymes that break down biofilm. The new Cyto Plus actually has some EDTA in it. EDTA actually starves the biofilm, or the bacteria, I should say, of iron that it uses to make biofilms. Interface Plus has all those things in it. That's why I like the product. But we start to bring in biofilm busters, really starting even with month 1, because we want to start breaking down the biofilms where the bacteria hide. Prokinetics, what does that mean? Remember, I already taught you that the migrating motor complex is this complex of nerves that keep the food particles moving through the gut, especially at night. When that's broken, we have to help that happen. So we take things called prokinetics, so pro-movement, meaning it helps things move through the gut so the bacteria don't have time to feed from the particles. Ginger, fennel, dandelion root, these are all prokinetics. Juicing ginger helps, pills with ginger. So these are examples of things that help move the food particles in. My advice, take them at night, because that's when most of that migrating motor complex takes its place. So take the prokinetics at night, and oftentimes, like I said, we have to even change some of the prokinetics over time because the intestines get used to it. Lastly, what about probiotics? Most people don't do well with SIBO, with probiotics, or at least they don't work, but they even react to them. So month 1, we typically don't use probiotics. Month 2, there's certain probiotics like soil-based probiotics that are better intros into probiotics. One called Megaspore Biotic is a great example, and you can find it maybe online. But so, and because certain probiotics really flared up, and with SIBO, we want to stay far away from those. So I'll remember to put those in some of the lists. So these are the things that we have to consider when we're dealing with SIBO. And if you consider all of them, at least you can control the symptoms. But I want to restate it. If you have autoimmune, where your body's literally, its own immune system is attacking the nerves that supply this migrating motor complex that keeps food particles moving through fast enough to not feed the bacteria in the small intestine where it doesn't belong, you will relapse every time you start eating certain foods, garlic, onions, and there's a host of others on the high FODMAP food, cashews, a lot of healthy foods. But people with SIBO eventually get bloated, and now you start bloating from a lot of different foods after you get sensitized. Most IBS, irritable bowel syndrome, most food intolerances, it's estimated 95% of them are actually SIBO. So many people watching this, you don't know you have SIBO. You just have the symptoms that I talked about. I hope this helps. I went through your questions as I stated, and many of them were around this. And many of your comments telling other people like, hey, it helps to break up the biofilm. So I'm going to get my team, they're going to kill me, at least put something very simple but very direct together for you. And if you'll put in your email, and again, it's not going to happen for a week, then we'll make sure we get that out to you. So Dylan, remind me of that. And matter of fact, I'll make Dylan put the team on it for us. So I hope that helps. Share the video, please. And by the way, keep putting your comments in. It helps because that helps me know how many of you are suffering. I knew to do this video tonight based on you who put comments in. And thank you those who share, because we have a lot of people who joined up based on your shares from this big problem of bloating after meals. And so many people are getting bad information here. And this is why so many people aren't getting their gut well and fixing their gut, because it is in fact a SIBO issue, and a lot of bad information on Dr. Google here. So I hope I'm busting it out. So I hope that helps, and I'm going to continue to do these based on what you tell me in the feedback. So give me comments. Thanks.